Tonight, Tauranga misses out on Bike Award, the Great Pumpkin Carnival and a very special guest. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Wednesday the 4th of March. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, State Highway 29 in the Kaimai Range has come under intense public scrutiny following Sunday's two-car crash which left 4 women hospitalised. Ranked as amongst the nation's top 10 riskiest stretches of road, State Highway 29 north of Tauranga has seen 5 fatal crashes in the last 5 years, ranking it 7th on the Kiwi RAP National Risk List. The New Zealand Transport Agency are assuring motorists that work is taking place to ensure the highway meets safety requirements, with concerns including the placement of roadwork blockades. Farmers in the Waikato are being urged to watch out for their health as the stress of managing in the extremely dry conditions this summer grinds on. A multi-agency teleconference today heard that soil moisture remained low in the region, although not as bad as last year. Farmer representatives say rainfall has been very patchy, while river flows were still very low. While feed availability remained generally good through the use of supplements, there were concerns about stress levels if the big dry carries on for too much longer. John Bubb, a Hauraki representative on the Waikato Rural Support Trust, says the ongoing pressure of managing in the dry conditions, such as extra feeding out of the supplements, was placing a strain on many. He says the workload is starting to grind farmers down. So many are tired, particularly after 3 hard summers in a row. He urges farmers to look after their physical and mental health in these circumstances. Tauranga has missed out on the BikeWise New Zealand favourite place to cycle poll, with awards going to Rotorua, Taupo and the Otago Trail. BikeWise asked Kiwis to nominate and vote for their favourite places to cycle around New Zealand this summer, and the winner is the Redwoods in Rotorua. Whakarewarewa Forest also won New Zealand's favourite off-road adventure ride category this year. Areas around New Zealand compete against each other in 4 categories, with the winners decided by popular vote. National Cycling Manager for the NZ Transport Agency, Dougal List, says the competition is about Kiwis identifying, sharing and celebrating their favourite places to cycle. A deal too good to be true has cost a Tauranga man $1,200 and left him with the horrible knowledge he was taken in by a scam. One of the oldest scamming techniques, the white van speaker scam, has now made its way to Tauranga and comes on the back of cases reported in Auckland and Hamilton last month. The local man, who has asked to remain anonymous, says he was duped by 2 men selling home audio equipment out of the back of their white van in the Mega Mitre 10 car park on Cameron Road last Wednesday. A team of top scientists from New Zealand and the US are heading to the Bay of Plenty this week to gather data on underwater volcanoes on the Kermadec Arc. Over the next 3 weeks, remotely operated submersibles will scour the seabed to the northeast of the region in an attempt to gain a greater understanding of the hostile environment. In a New Zealand first, the target seafloor volcanoes, Macaulay Caldera and the nearby Guggenbach, will be investigated extensively at close range. The 18-day voyage departed Auckland yesterday and is built around the regular Navy supply trip to Raoul Island on the HMNZS Wellington. This particular voyage will support GNS Science, the Department of Conservation and the Meteorological Service. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton tomorrow, fine spells with afternoon, evening showers and light winds. High of 28 and low of 16. The rest of the Waikato will be mostly the same. Pairo 26 and overnight low of 16. Matamata 24 and 15. Te Awamutu, your high will be 28 and an overnight low of 16. Tokorua, high of 25 and 16. Tauranga, expect fine spells with a few showers and light winds. High of 25 and low of 19. For other parts of the bay, cloudy periods with light winds. Te Puke expect a few showers near East Cape, turning to rain from afternoon. Your high is 24 and overnight low of 18. And for the marine forecast, West Coast Raglan a variable 10 knots, southwest swell of 1 metre developing. Your high tide is at 11:22 p.m. And on the east coast, easterly 15 knots, turning early Friday northwest 15 knots as well. And your high tide is at 22 past 8 at night. Coming up next, special guest Brian Rawiri. Welcome back to Central News. I'm Amanda Harper. Tonight we have a special profile piece featuring an inspirational young man from Matamata who is not only active in his community but is a talented musician as well. Brian Rawiri came in earlier today to pay us a visit.
My life so far has taken me all over the place. It's managed to get me involved into a lot of different things within the community, and so at this stage it's really come to a culmination of quite a few things.
Yeah. You're quite known among the community, especially with your involvement in particular projects. Can you tell me a little bit about the one that you do with your church, on the church board?
The project that I'm involved with in my church is updating its health, safety and employment policy. So I look at the church and find ways that I might be able to mitigate any safety hazards within the church property. So that is a large part of my task, is that, yeah.
Yeah, and why is that important to you?
One thing is liability because of the new HSC legislation that is coming in, but the other thing is the overall safety of our congregation. You know, I'd hate to see anything untoward happen as a result of us being negligent or seen to be negligent, so that's a large motivator for what I do.
Yeah, and have you sort of implemented anything yet?
Not at this stage. We're just currently trying to update everything because you're dealing with a building that's quite old. It's a hard task.
Yeah. Now I know you're also a part of the Lions Club as well. You're very busy. What projects are you working on with them?
A project that I am in the midst of trying to get off the ground is we're trying to put solar powered street lighting on Tower Road Walkway, and so that's going to be a large project of which I've been made the chairperson or the director of. And so I would oversee the administration of all the tasks involved to get that off the ground.
Yeah, and what would be the benefits of doing that?
The benefit would be for the people who use the walkway. It's for the safety of the public who use it, and for their peace of mind if it gets quite dark in some places of the walkway, and I'd like to see that they can walk that stretch of path or without sort of feeling a little bit disturbed or nervous.
And why would they be solar?
They'd be solar because a large part is the cost. It's going to cost in the realm of a few $100,000 if we were to have them wired in. Also the environmental factor, definitely. Using solar powered street lighting is far more independent, where you can they're more self-sustainable. It's not a cost because we do intend to pass them on to the community, which is the council ratepayer. We don't want them to be stuck with a bill of paying power for the rest of the duration of those lights. So, yeah, that was a bit of a no-brainer.
Yep. Yeah. Now, I know you're also involved with the Mayor Task Force for Jobs. Now, what is this?
Mayor's Task Force for Jobs. It's a way of mentorship relationship between a representative of their district and the mayor, the respective mayor, and that is to encourage a working alliance between youth in that particular district, between the youth representative and the mayor. So the youth representative would be a representative of all youth in that district. So I have been Matamata Piako District's youth representative, for the Mayor's Task Force. But it is largely in part to stimulate employment amongst youth, employment or education after school for youth. Yeah.
So there has been a need identified within the district?
Yes, and certainly in a national sort of context as well, definitely. Yeah.
And how long have you been involved with that?
For a year now. Yeah. It's been a busy year, and it involves me to go through to different conferences around New Zealand and go and meet different youth from around the place and representatives. Yeah.
How do you balance all these different community projects?
It's very tricky, and I guess I kind of manage them in a really obscure way where I just do it all at once and try and coordinate things on the go through while I'm working, and when I'm talking to someone about one particular project, I'm also thinking about the next project that I've got on the line. Yeah, so it's a lot of multitasking. Yeah.
Do you often find that they kind of intertwine with each other and people can help out each other?
Yes, definitely. You make connections through different networks, and you find that through these different networks of people that they have similar interests in what it is that one is doing. Yeah.
And would you say that the community of Matamata are willing to get behind you in these projects?
I think so. I think one of the big things I've tried to establish is a credibility within my community. So if I can establish that, then the community can see me as a reliable person, and that, if I say I can do something, then they believe that I can do it. So yeah, hopefully.
And do you have time for, a social life? Do you play a sport, golf or something like that?
Yes, I play golf, I play badminton, I play tennis. Very into sport these days. But yeah, golf is probably my big thing. Yeah, I'm the captain of my golf club.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a big responsibility where I oversee a lot of the competitions and tournaments at the golf club. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Now, I know you're also a bit of a muso as well. I've heard raving reviews about you within the community.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing music for?
I've been playing for roughly 10 to 15 years. I started as a young kid at college. Knew nothing about how to play guitar, and it was a result of my dad passing away that I started playing the guitar, and after his funeral we found that he had this one lying around, and so I started sort of playing it.
Were you self-taught?
Yes. I watched a lot of videos. I always wanted to be the rock star and play heavy metal music and all that sort of thing, but it just didn't work out that way. Yeah, I was no good at it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. Are there any musicians that inspire your music?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest inspiration for me probably would be a guy called Tommy Emmanuel. He's an Australian guitar player, and he is probably the reason I play the style I do play. He's been very much a mentor indirectly. I just look this guy up on YouTube and try and figure out what it is that he's doing, because it's really interesting and it sounds good. Yeah.
Do you sing as well?
Not if I want to keep an audience around.
Oh, I doubt that actually. But is guitar your main passion?
Yes, guitar's my main thing. If I had to sing, I would sing. But I'm a guitar player, so I stick to guitar playing.
All right then. Thank you very much for sharing your story with me today.
No worries.
Now we have a very special treat for our viewers at home. Doesn't often happen here on Central News, but Brian is going to play for us. That was such a pleasure to meet you, Brian. And to our viewers, if you know of anyone within your community that deserves to be recognised, email me, amanda@centralnews.co.nz. We'll be back with more after the break. Welcome back to Central News. The Great Pumpkin Carnival is coming up at the end of the month, and this year they are hoping to break the record for the heaviest pumpkin. And not only that, there will be also plenty of things to see and do for the whole family.
It began obviously 6 or nearly 7 years ago when we as volunteers for the Hamilton Garden were having lunch in the kitchen gardens, beautiful lunch made from what had been grown in the kitchen garden. And there was giant pumpkins growing there, and it was mentioned that they saved the seeds and planted them and sold off the plants. And it just sort of came to me that that's only half the story. You know, what happens to all these people that are growing plants and have nothing to do with them? And it really got a hold of me. And as a result, before that lunch had finished, I had spoken with the director of the gardens, spoken with the chap in charge of the kitchen gardens. They both thought it was a good idea to do something. So it was a case of go off and have a think about it and how it might work and put it on paper. And it was well received right from the very start. Lots of support, that was great.
Yeah.
And it's gone from there and got bigger every year.
Okay. Is that bigger in terms of the organising team or the people that actually come, or both?
Bigger really in terms of people that are there and what we do, what we incorporate as part of the entertainment and the categories. Lots of different categories for people to enter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the event is at the Hamilton Gardens. Are you able to judge how many people actually come through each year, or is it quite difficult?
It's really a hard one. We do know that as a result of incredible publicity that came our way last year, we probably at least doubled or trebled our numbers last year.
Okay.
So we'd be well into the thousands.
Yep, and this year's probably set to be even bigger.
We hope so.
Yeah.
We always hope so. Lots of celebrities growing this year.
And what celebrities will be involved this year?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a case of spot the celebrity on the day. And every year, right from the beginning, we've had local politicians and local councillors growing.
Yep.
But this year, somebody has gotten to gear and got a few other people growing with mixed results, as is always the case when you're gardening and growing something, especially as finicky as giant pumpkins. But yeah, there'll be quite a few quite well-known phases wandering around on the day.
Are you allowed to tell us who's going to be there?
Well, Dave McPherson is growing again.
Yep.
Councillor Dave McPherson.
Yep.
He's grown every year. He's even judged for us one year. And I believe his is on the way. Sue Moroney, that will be her third year that she has grown for us. Quite successfully, I might say. And we've got
Any musicians?
yes, Tiki Tane's growing.
Tiki Tane.
Not sure whether he'll be there on the day. He's
Yep.
got a gig the night before. Mark Bunting,
Yep.
I believe, has a pumpkin. Craig Barrett, the previous Olympic fast walker.
Check out the website for more details, thegreatpumpkincarnival.co.nz. Worldwide, 1.6 billion people live in poor housing conditions. As a result, their health is poor, they struggle to pay bills, buy food or afford medical care. Habitat for Humanity's mission is to give those people a hand up to fill their basic needs for housing. Hilary talks to Nick Green.
So we're predominantly a housing provider, so we work with low-income families to look at their housing issues, and one of our products is like you see behind us here, a home ownership product where we build a house for a family and then they basically rent to own that property over a 10-year period. So at the end of this build, it'll go to a family in Tirau, and then over the 10-year period they'll rent that property from us until they can afford to refinance with the bank.
So you actually build it somewhere and then shift it?
Yeah, well, in this case, yeah. I mean, we do a number of these high-profile builds so we can engage with different people around the community.
For more information on how you can help, head to www.habitat.org.nz. That's it from me tonight for Central News. To stay up to date with all that we do, like us on Facebook, search centralnews.tv, or if you think you might have a story lead or perhaps feedback about the show, email news@tvcentral.co.nz. We always love to hear from you. I will be back again tomorrow night with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Amanda Harper. Have a good night. Pō Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.